What's up, guys? I'm here to talk to you guys again. Doing another vlog. My name is Lindsay Beckler. I'm the owner of Lindsay Beckler Fitness Consulting. I am a certified personal trainer and a fitness consultant, as well as a past bikini competitor. I say past because I don't know if I'll ever compete again. That's the situation there. I've done 8 shows. I've been to nationals 4 times. I let you guys kind of know my history with competing in case you are interested in competing, or if your interest in my videos are solely for competing purposes. You just kind of want to know what my background is with competing. So a topic that I feel like that isn't discussed very often in the fitness industry is post-competition depression, or post-competition blues is what they call it. I'm gonna have to let the dog in. And a back. So if you've competed before, here we go. So if you've competed before, you know that, oh my arm. Gatsby! Sit! Come! Sit down. Gotta get aggressive with the guy. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So if you've competed before, you know that prep is difficult, but after prep is something completely different. You no longer have a goal, you don't have a specific deadline anymore. Following your diet, following your training volume is a lot more difficult because you can't really see the purpose anymore to staying on track. With competing, it's like you have 8 weeks out, so you have a show date, and so to stay on track again is just a lot easier. I shouldn't say easier, but it's a lot more motivating. It's easier to stay motivated. So I'm somebody who I suffer from depression and anxiety to begin with. So if I decide to compete, or I have something else going on in my life, the chances of me becoming depressed or anxious are just that much more likely to happen, I should say. I'm just more prone to getting depressed or anxious about something. So after each show that I did feel depressed and I did feel anxious, and there's a whole other side of competing that people don't talk about, which is the post-competition. So this last year when I moved to Kelowna, I would say is when I suffered from post-competition depression the most. So we moved and I was no longer competing. I had a lot of changes going on in my life. I'm definitely somebody who I use exercise as a way to get out, not so much aggression, but emotion, or to avoid emotion. So it's a lot harder to run from your problems when you aren't being that physically active anymore, if that makes sense. So when you take a step away from competing, it's hard to kind of be alone with your thoughts and realize that, a lot of your thoughts prior to post-comp had to do with exercise and eating and how you look. So a lot of the hours during the day you're spending thinking about cardio. How much cardio do I have left to do? How much have I done? You're thinking about what to eat. How much have you eaten? When you can eat next, because you're always hungry. And you're also focusing on yourself, on your body image, right? So you're focusing on, okay, how do I look now? Am I lean enough yet? Will I be ready? A lot of personal problems are pushed to the side because you don't have time to think about it anymore because you're focusing on something else. So I feel like a lot of people will continue competing, or they will decide to compete at a time in their life when they have a lot of things going on personally, because they aren't maybe mentally prepared or ready to face those things yet. So I know for me, I had a lot going on in my life. Every time that I decided to compete, it was just an easy thing. Like, it was a sure thing. Like, I have this going on and that going on, and at least I can depend on competing, and I know it'll always be there. Like, I know it'll always have my back, and I can always focus on prep. It's hard when you're not competing anymore, because it's hard to find your purpose. If I'm not a bikini competitor and I'm not always in prep, who am I? So it's hard to find your balance outside of competing with your personal relationships and your relationship with yourself, honestly. I struggled the hardest after I moved from Saskatoon, because I had gained weight. I had gained the most weight I'd ever gained after a show, and I was in a new city, working from home. So honestly, the amount of pressure and confusion that I had going on in my life was just overwhelming at the time. I'll just be straight up honest with you guys about how I felt. I felt fat. I hate using that word because I know some people don't find it offensive, but I personally find it offensive. I would never call somebody fat. I would never say that they've gotten fat. And I felt fat. So I've just felt like I had totally lost my self-worth. I felt like I put everything that I knew into one thing, and that was competing. Like, I was Lindsay Beckler. I competed in bikini. I would like to consider myself a competitive competitor, if that makes sense. So if I was showing up to a provincial show, I would hope that I would be somebody that would maybe judges would maybe be looking for. Am I allowed to say that? Like, I don't think that's being conceited. I think that's me being confident and saying that, like, I thought I did pretty well at the sport that I chose. The thing about people who suffer from depression and anxiety is that, regardless of whether we have something positive in our life or we have something to look forward to, we still find something to hate on. Like, we find something that could be better, or that we could be focusing on and making that as good as everything else going on in our life. So when you take that away, so I personally felt like competing was my everything. Like, that was my way to avoid thinking about my depression, avoid thinking about my relationship issues, avoid mostly thinking about my relationship with myself. So it was easy for me to think, well, it's okay because tomorrow will be better. I'm going to be doing all of this activity. I'll be able to focus on something else and not focus on the things that are personally bothering me outside of competing. It's also really, really difficult to see yourself normal again. So you're no longer that crazy, shredded person anymore, which I personally, when I step on stage, I'm about 123 pounds. Off season, I'm about 145. Right now, I'm 152. So I'm heavier than I ever have been in an off season. So it's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to see myself in the mirror. It's hard for me to get whatever they're called, flashbacks on Facebook, reminders of how lean I was at certain points of my life. So it's really, really difficult to look back and see where you've come from. And also, it's difficult to remember that your plan is to not do that anymore. Like, my plan is to just try and find a balance and keep healthy outside of competing. If I ever do compete again, I want to be in a positive mind frame. I want it to be because I want to compete again, and I really miss just competing in general. I don't want it to be because I'm avoiding personal issues. I'm avoiding my depression and I'm avoiding my anxiety. I feel like if you jump from show to show to show, you're avoiding being normal. like you're not being normal, but I hate the word normal because people refer to people who are really into competing as freaks or not normal. But you're avoiding yourself. Like you're avoiding your off-season body, and you're also avoiding your regular thoughts, if that makes sense. So constantly thinking about food, constantly thinking about competition, thinking about how you look, thinking about how much you weigh. I personally don't relate that to life. Like, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life thinking about that. Like, I should hope that I can just think about other things in my life, my career, my relationships with my family, my relationship with my boyfriend, traveling, so many other things in life, so many other things that life has to offer, I guess is what I want to say. So last year was the hardest, absolutely the hardest year mentally for me in terms of my depression and my anxiety, because I had taken a full year off. Not only that, I had taken a full year off at the heaviest body weight that I had ever been, and I had no plans of going back. And so many other changes in my life. This year, I'm not competing again, 2018. I'm just working at, again, continuing to find balance and focusing on other things. Like, I feel like I have a strong voice in the fitness industry, helping, and a good platform too, to help women realize that competing is there, yes, and of course it's great to have a goal, but it's great to also accept yourself as you are outside of competing, and that you should never put all of your eggs in one basket. I used to make fun of that saying, but it's so perfect for right now. You should never put all your eggs in one basket. Like, competing is such a short-lived sport. You can do it for so long. So just remember to always have a backup plan and think, what's my plan after? Right away, plan to get on a post-competition diet and a training regimen and stick to it so that you don't gain too much fat back. And also talk to people. Like, I did not talk to anyone about how I was feeling. I only this year actually opened up to people and said that, like, I would tell Mike that I felt shitty, or that I felt fat, or that I felt like, I don't know why people even look up to me for fitness advice. Like, I'm the heaviest I've ever been, and I'm not competing anymore, so how can I motivate others to stay on track or do what they're trying to do when I can't even get my shit together, get my own shit together? So I will say that what I would suggest to people is, if you're feeling shitty or you're feeling depressed, anxious, post-competition, you need to reach out to your coach and tell them that. If you don't have a coach, find some sort of accountability and let them know that you're struggling with depression and that you're struggling with keeping on task. Also, if you feel like you could use it, therapy. Find a professional who can help you realize that there's so much more to life than bodybuilding. There's so much more to life than what you put in your mouth. And there's so much more to life than how much you weigh and how much cardio you're doing. To that extreme, right? There's a balance to everything, and I've always said that I've always been an active person. I generally just need activity in my life to feel better and feel accomplished. I take one day away from activity, and that's just a personal choice. I get bored easy, and I feel like being active is a positive thing, but you can also have too much of a good thing. So I'm focusing on being active in a balanced state. So one way that I did that last year was I focused on golf for a bit. Like, I tried to golf instead of going to the gym. I couldn't do it. I actually just missed the gym. So I would golf on my active rest days. Even if it's on my days off on Sundays, I don't like to just sit around the house and sit on my phone or watch movies or whatever. Like, I have to get outside and actually get moving just to feel positive and feel like I'm doing something. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I say that all the time. And the last one I got quite a bit of likes, which I was impressed with, because it just tells me that you guys actually enjoyed what I had to say. and that you, well, I guess exactly that, you enjoyed it. So it motivates me to make more of these videos. I know they say all the time on videos, like, let me know what you want to see or comment, but now I actually get why they say that, and it's so that I can understand that you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed what I had to say and how I kind of put it together, and this setting. Like I said before, my videos are more of a podcast, I would say, because I actually just like sitting down and telling you guys my experiences. Yeah, thank you so much for watching it. I appreciate it. Again, like, subscribe if you like my videos, and I've been doing polls on Instagram too, and letting people know what I plan to do a video about, so that way they can vote on what they want me to do a video on. So my Instagram is @l.boechler fitness. Hope you guys have a great Sunday, and remember that you are your friggin' thoughts. Peace.